wish good things to you who's watching this. I am Alexey, and with me is a very special guest to start off the first stream of the World Team Carcassonne Championships 2023, the one and only Dan Chard, also known as danisthirty on Board Game Arena, and the author of the Book of Carcassonne and one of the masterminds behind Carcassonne Central. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Alexey, thank you so much for having me. It's great to be here.
Alrighty, let's see who's in the chat. Hi Helge, hi Robin, hi Craft, hi Robert. We already have quite a lot of viewers actually. Do remember to meeple the like button for the algorithm and for the positive emotions of the streamers. So we have quite a lot to talk about. The match is starting in about 8 minutes. But first, I just wanted to talk a little bit about what happened yesterday. So I've recently been getting a lot of positive emotion from Carcassonne, newly discovered. We had a clutch match with Hungary, Team Latvia versus Hungary, and Latvia won 7 versus 6 in games and 3 versus 2 in duels. As the team captain, my heart was absolutely racing towards the end. I'm quite happy about this start. Just wanted to share that with you. And today the match that we're going to look is between two strong teams. Romania with 2 world championship in their roster, one of which is lined up for this game, and the strong team of Netherlands, certainly some masters there in pair 1 especially. So Dan, who do you think is the favorite in this match?
I knew you were going to ask me that, and I was dreading it because I'm notoriously bad at guessing who's going to win. I think it's really tricky. I am feeling that I'm leaning slightly towards the Netherlands just because of the positioning of the pairs. I think on a good day either team could win it, but on this occasion and with the pairs that are there, I'm anticipating a 3-2 win for the Netherlands.
Interesting, alrighty, and I'm anticipating a 3-2 win for Romania. So first of all, you mentioned a great point, is that it's not only about who has the strongest players, it's about the individual pairing as well. So it's
Absolutely.
Quite an interesting part of the strategy for captains as well. I see lots of people in the chat. Hi Nico, hi Pichan, hi Vika. All right, thanks for the kind words, Robert. So, but you mentioned about guessing who is going to win, and that's, I have 2 announcements to make. So one, let's start with the announcement that has to do about this match. There's going to be a little prize for our viewers if you manage to predict the winner of this match. So what is the prize, Dan?
So I have got some Carcassonne tiles here that are signed by Carcassonne's author, Klaus-Jürgen Ried, and I will be happy to give them away to anybody who can guess the outcome. So I'll just quickly show you what ones you've got there. These, you're looking at that thinking, whoa, that's crazy, that's not from the basic game, and it's not. They're from some expansions, but yeah, these are the tiles signed by Klaus-Jürgen there.
Awesome. And here's what you need to do to get this. So I think guessing just the winner is a little bit easy because you have only 2 choices. In order to get the tiles, you need to get the score, and also you need to guess which are going to be the winning players. So you see 5 pairs on the screen. You see Tabatos, Wally, Geo versus John Nordwijk, and so on. All you got to do, our dear viewers, is just comment a list of 5 winners of individual duels. So let's say if you think that Romania is going to win 3-2, you could comment something like Tabato, John Nordwijk, Mars, Loose Goose, Irvin G, meaning that Tabato, Mars, and Irvin are going to be the 3 winning players for the Romanian side, and Jorn and John Nordwijk and Loose Goose are going to be the winning players for the Dutch side. So basically, you just have to predict the outcome of all 5 duels. And if none of you are able to do that, we'll just pick the winner who was the closest overall. Does that sound fair, Dan?
That sounds ideal, and yeah, I'll be interested to see how many people can pick it correctly.
Yeah, so let's say you have, half an hour to predict the winner until... Is that too generous?
It depends how quickly the games are going to be over. I suppose that they're starting in 3 minutes, doesn't it? Maybe you're giving people a head start. They're going to be hanging on, waiting to see what the early game results are.
Okay, let's make it 15 minutes. Let's make it like really, really a tight window. It's going to be for you all early birds out there. So just 15 minutes to predict the winner. So, but speaking of prediction games, there's one more, of course, one recently for the whole championship that I announced earlier on my channel. For those of you who haven't seen the video, we're doing Fantasy Carcassonne, and I'm giving away a copy of the board game called Citadels with special extra rules for competitive play from Alexey to the subscriber, the one of you who wins the game of Fantasy Carcassonne. And all you gotta do is follow the World Team Carcassonne Online Championship, and by April 23rd, predict who will be the 5 best performing 5 players. Basically, you just need to pick your Fantasy 5 and go to the link in the description for the stream. You'll see the video with instructions on how to participate. Already so many of you have submitted their fantasy teams. I just want to go through them real quick. But before that, Dan, have you thought about, if you were to participate, who would be your Fantasy 5 overall from the championship?
I think just to make it interesting, I would probably want to pick one person from each team rather than, as you said on your video, just taking everybody from the Japanese team. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good players. I would probably put someone in my team, and I think Kithara would probably be in my team. There's some guy in the Latvia team who has his own YouTube channel who's apparently quite good. I might put him on my team as well. And the other 2 places, I don't know. I'd have to pick people in the UK team just to show solidarity for them. But it's a great idea. We were talking about it on our Discord channel and wondering about whether in future years maybe you could have a certain amount of money that you would have to pay towards your team, and the price of players could be dependent on their elo.
We were thought of kind of having an ELO budget and stuff. For the first time, I sort of decided to keep it simple. Just pick 5 players as long as not any 3 of them are on one team. I think the games are about to start. I just need to sort something out from my many, many, many windows that I have. Let me just try to do a little bit of some magic. Dan will disappear for a couple of seconds, but don't you worry about that. Don't you worry about that. Dan will reappear right now. And I think that we agreed to follow, first of all, table number 1, because it's going to be quite a close duel with strong players. Okay, so many predictions already. All right, let's go to the game.
Everybody wants those tiles.
So, yes. Tabata is playing against Zwali. So Zwali is a master. He had over 700 elo at some point, and he's very close to 700 as well. Yeah, and
I think he's also the reigning Dutch champion at the moment. Oh no, they had it recently, didn't they? He was last year.
I think he was the Dutch champion last year as well. So that's
it.
Gert Versteeg. Hopefully I didn't butcher my Dutch. And yeah, Tabata is a strong player on the Romanian team. Also a national champion at some point. And he knows how to start with a 6-point city. Wait, are you watching? Are you watching the game as well, Dan, on your end?
I am, yep. I've got tabs open of all of the players, and I am also watching Tabadeau against Zwolleywood.
Oh, that's perfect.
It's sometimes a little bit slow at first, isn't it? Because I think as the board expands and the options increase, there isn't always a lot of different exciting things that you can do. Like I imagine Zwolleywood doesn't want that tile in either place.
Oh, that's very interesting. Yeah, he was forced to sort of bother his city a little bit. I mean, he could still finish the city, and the advantage of that city up top is that it is quite close near the monastery. One thing that you can do, Dan, you can also kind of open my stream in the tab. I'm like drawing on the screen and stuff. Or actually, I have another idea as well. The players are playing so fast, but much is happening though. I mean, there are a lot of features open. I see Green is doing quite well despite Red's advantages on the scoreboard. So Green has the 6-point monastery, and to quote the 2019 World Championship Marian Kurkan, he who gets the first monastery tile has the opening advantage.
I suppose in this case, because of the timing of that four-sided city tile, Zwolleywood's going to be reluctant to fill his cloister on the left there, where he has a gap just above the road, because then a road gets pointed towards his city, although he's already going to be struggling to keep that one alive just based on the road on the right that's narrowing his options there.
Oh, that's an interesting, quite committal move here from Green. So Green is hoping for the one of the two remaining starting tiles. He has a 75% chance to actually get it, but if he doesn't get it, then, well, this poor meeple here is permanently trapped. And you know what else Red could do? Red can grab a crossroads right here. I think you should be able to see it on the screen. I'll double check real quickly. By you, I mean my viewers, but not Dan. Dan will just need to read my mind a little bit. Yes, so the crossroads to separate these two meeples. And then there are some scenarios where Red traps two meeples of Green at the same time. And maybe because of that, I'm starting to like Red's position here a little bit. Red has a city open. Red gets another tile to continue his city. And this city over here by Red, it kind of looks like a ruin, but 1, 2, 3 tiles, and that would be quite enough to complete.
So I guess Green is recognising that and trying to limit the options. They've slowed down a little bit compared to how quickly they started off.
It does make sense, because typically opening moves are very often obvious. It seems to be quite a simple position to play, but now we're approaching the middle game, and there are some decisions to be made. So, for example, now Green finishes his road, which is a move that I rather like, but to use that tile as a city tile was also a legit option. Green definitely thought about continuing his city like this. Green thought about continuing his city like this, but he decided that getting a meeple back from the road is more important. Red, in the meantime, is amassing a point lead. Green, very fortunately for them, prevented the crossroads move that I was talking about earlier. So Green is able to connect to this road, which is actually quite important for Green. Still 75% chance to...
One of the start tiles, 3 of them are now out, so there's only one left now.
Right, one at the bottom. So actually only a 50% chance for green to, well, I'm going to say complete a city, but still green has to put the 2 triangles over here, and that is also not guaranteed. Red now snatches a nice, potentially 5-point road next to green's monastery, and at the same time threatens this super sensitive square, but green gets the triangle and is also only about 1 tile from completing his monastery. And also green can do that with another monastery, because there's still 5 monastery tiles remaining. For those of you who have been watching lots of my videos, I've probably said dozens of times that the best way to finish a monastery is with another monastery.
So is he going to start pre-filling around where that monastery would go? This tile would be a nice one to do that with, I suppose.
Oh, actually, I really like your suggestion. Yeah, I think it was really the best move. Green decided not to do that. Green just dumped this tile, but I think placing this road anticipating the monastery would have been excellent. Also, just getting 2 points for a road won't hurt. You know, both sides have surprisingly a lot of meeples to play with. We see no farmers, interestingly, and that's because there are no big fields. But what that means is you see all these big city tiles, all these big city tiles. This means that all the small city tiles are in the deck, and then towards the end of the game, we're going to see all these small cities arise in the same place, and then suddenly, like, 12, 15, 21-point farmers out of nowhere. So I think this game is still up for grabs for both sides.
Absolutely, and when those big farms start springing up, it's going to be a matter of who's got the most meeples left to fight for them. So I guess Green is hoping that he will be able to complete his city quickly and free something up. Plus, it's going to be quite valuable as well if he does.
Exactly. Look at this quite interesting move. So Green restricts himself. I mean, of course, this was the only way to take 2 quick points, right? Because this, I mean, you really wanted the points. You want to create a blocking platform for this red meeple as well. But now, if Green gets one of the 3 roadless monastery tiles, Green will be absolutely kicking himself, because there will be no place to place these monasteries productively, except for maybe this square on the top left. Actually, that could be quite alright. Monastery here, road blocking this meeple. We're blocking off this red meeple, blocking it off completely. As green, of course. Red trying to prevent that, trying to just continue his city, get out of harm's way. We're likely to see a block over here from green. Not really much to do. Green's getting a lot of road tiles, and red is getting city tiles. Of course, green would have preferred to have the city tiles, and now red is 1 tile away from finishing the city. Will he able to do that? If red will be able to finish the city, that will be huge, but no.
That's a good tile for green, isn't it?
Exactly, that's a essential tile for the survival of green. I'm going to tell you more than that. And of course, green has to put it over here. This is the only move that doesn't lose him the game instantly. And hope for one of the 2 connector tiles, one of the 2 triple cities that can connect and share this city with red and freeload from all the effort that red put into building it up. Moreover,
nice. Sorry. Go ahead,
go.
Alexey. Oh, I was just going to say it works nicely at the other side as well, in that although he wants a triangle to close off his city, another triangle there means that he finishes his city at the bottom as well.
Exactly.
So he sort of goes to share the red city and also sets himself up nicely to finish his own city.
And there's still 4 triangles remaining. What?
Ooh.
This is like a really, really big mistake. 100%. I'm very surprised to see this from such a high-level player like Zwali here. The reason why this is a mistake, your opponent, red, has 2 tiles to win the game instantly. If red draws one of those that fit here, well, then red just wins. The city is just way too big. I think the idea here of green is that green wants to block this, essentially, but it will take him a really long time to do so, and in all likelihood, red will draw a defense, red will able to put something here, and then have at least a 50% chance of drawing the city. Moreover, this square is actually very hard to block now, because if green were to put a tile here, he'll be hurting his own city as well, and red will be able to indirectly defend by finishing his road. So green now doesn't block, just finishes his monastery, and well, let's see what's happening here. Maybe green just panicked and didn't want to sort of, maybe I forgot to place a meeple. I did that once, kind of just misclicked. Maybe green didn't want to invest a meeple into 1 point city, but at that point, beggars can't be choosers, and green has 4 meeples. Like, what else are you going to use them if not for sharing a 20-point city? But let's see what comes out of that. Red draws a monastery. Does red have a spot to meeple a monastery? I actually see one for 6 points on the left, but red chooses to play conservatively and simply protect the city at the top, attack green's road, chooses not to invest a meeple, which I actually kind of understand. Red is looking forward to completing either of the cities and now draws a monastery. Will he meeple that one? It kind of looks a bit more promising because it has a bunch of safer spots. So, for example, this 6-point spot is here absolutely stellar, but he goes for the field instead, which is also understandable, but it feels like he's expanding the field by so much while he's at a meeple disadvantage. While this field may look lucrative, it has 6 points, potentially 9, potentially 12 when these cities get completed, but look at how vulnerable it is. Entry point over here, entry point over here, potentially when this city gets completed, entry point over here when this city gets completed. So actually, because green has the long-term meeple advantage, it seems to me that green has the chances to win that field eventually. Just not with that tile, because green will probably be either meepling a monastery or scoring 4 points for this road right here. Let's see what green does. In the meantime, Dan, you said you were following all the other games. Are there any interesting developments in other matches?
Well, I didn't quite say I was following all the other games. I just have them open on tabs, so I can click through them and see where we are. But I was kind of engrossed in this game, to be honest.
Well, that's understandable. Because
Bexay and Irvin G have finished their first game, and that was a 10-point win to Bexay.
All right, predictably finished their third game because they're both incredibly fast players, which is why I wanted to save them for a little bit later because we need to warm up a little bit. We need to, and also, I mean, this game is also quite intense. I kind of wanted to chill, talk with Dan a little bit about the Book of Carcassonne, about Carcassonne Central, but we will need to postpone this because there's just so much action happening. Well, Dan, can you take over for a while? We see that green meepled the monastery, which of course I always empathize with. But in the meantime, Dan, can you please take over and do the play-by-play announcement for this game whilst I update the score in favor of Bexy?
I certainly can. So I guess at the moment, what's going to make a big difference in terms of the tiles that are waiting to be drawn is that there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of the big 8 left, which means there's 2 tiles left, which would be very useful to red for finishing his city. It's normally you'd expect green to perhaps make some kind of effort to slow him down. In fact, as he's doing there, the reason he might not have done that earlier is because it also presents a risk to his own city, which is only worth 1 point, but he'll be hoping to close that off with a triangle. In fact, this is even better for him because he can finish his city there, or he might choose to kill Red City. If he uses the splitter, he can take he would take 8 points for it. He's got 1 at the moment, so he'd be generating 7, but he's also giving 6 away for the farm. So another alternative might be to finish his city and claim the field, which is worth 6 by itself and has a good opportunity to join onto the main farm. But I guess it's going to be whether he wants to do that or whether he wants to kill Red City, or possibly even put it in his own city at the top there. You can see Red's put that straight road up on his last turn specifically so that he can point a road down there. Okay, so he's gone for the move which really doesn't get him as many points, because he's giving 6 away, and he's only really getting 7 for himself. So I'm surprised he didn't take the farm there rather than the city, or use it for something else. I'm guessing with this tile, Red is possibly just going to kill Green's city at the top, or maybe defend his own city, because there is, I believe, still 1 city road tile left, which he can defend his city with. Interesting to see what gets done. But the farm now that Red has is 5 cities, so that's worth 15 points. And yeah, Green's lost his city at the top. That's not going to be completable now, and there's no prizes for guessing where this city tile is going to go. Yep, maybe put a farmer as well just to secure it. Yep. So now Abado is 6 points ahead and has a 6-city farm. I think it's going to be quite difficult for Bollywood to find a way back into the game from here. He's a very good player, so who knows what might happen.
Well, he is a very good player, but today, indeed, as many also in the chat are pointing out, it does seem that he's not in his best shape today. So giving away this big city over here, which was worth 22 points, it was entirely on Green, because Green could have prevented it multiple times. And there is a way for Green back into this game, though. So I see some straight roads, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So there are 2 more remaining. And what I see happening is Green placing a road tile over here, blocking this red city at the same time, dropping a farmer, then connecting through this straight road, whilst also scoring 5 points for this road and freeing up his monastery over here. After that, in order to equalize, Green can place another road tile over here, place a farmer, then connect through here or through here, and as the cherry on top, Green can also perhaps block off this meeple somehow. There's still many ways how Green can win this game, but it does seem to me that all of them have to do something with this road tile, these 5 points, this monastery, and this field, either equalizing or taking over. So we're not sure whether equalizing is going to be sufficient. It might as well be. And look at this move by Red. I love it. Red just prevented one of the ideas I was talking about. So by this move, Red eliminated this field connection, and maximum what Green can do is to do something like this, drop a farmer, but they have other objectives. They need to go over here as well. They sort of need to block this city, because there's still 1 splitter tile that Red can draw that goes into the city like this, and then Red gets like 12 points in a meeple back, and that would be completely lights out. So the problem with Green's position, though, even though they are big sources of points in the position and Green can win this theoretically, there are only 10 tiles remaining to do so, meaning that Green has only 6 moves to play, and Green has loads of objectives to accomplish himself, and also threats that he needs to prevent from Red.
So there's not a lot of time, and lots of things on his to-do list.
Interesting. Okay, so yeah, people are suggesting to meeple the field as well.
Nice.
Robin is saying that Irving G ties up duel 5. So we'll... I think after this game, we will need to watch the decider of Irving, because it will be just such a dynamic duel to follow. I see also we have a lot of predictions for the outcomes of this match. It's hard to follow everything. We will definitely scroll through it later and sort all that out. All right, can you take over, Dan, for this one again whilst I update Irving's win?
Ooh. So I'm looking now. I'm guessing there's gonna be a lot depending on this farm, which is currently tied. So Tabado Red has something perched on the outside there, wanting to get on and take the farm outright. I'm not sure how many tiles are left that will do it, but this is the last cloister of the game. Yeah, obviously I was preempting it when I was saying that it was going to be difficult for Zwolleywood to get back into the game, because he's now only 8 points behind. He has that city there which is worth 7, and he has 4 more at the top. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and yes, a few more there. So I guess he's trying to stop Abado from getting onto the farm with that tile there. And instead he goes and adds to his city on the right. I'm just trying to count up the tiles at the same time to see what the chances are that he'll be able to get his second meeple onto that farm, because that would be a big move. I guess Zwolleywood has the separate farm at the top as well, which is worth 9. So maybe things are looking quite favourable for him at the moment. It would be very nice for him if he could finish his city at the top. But again, I'm not 100% sure how many city caps are left that would close it on the other side.
It is completely doable, because there's at least one. Remember, there's the starting tile that we talked about earlier that never came out?
Oh, yes. Yep, that's still waiting.
Well, the splitter came out here. What about... there are no regular city caps left. What about the daggers? I'm not sure if I'm circling it in the right places, but you'll sort of get the idea. Here are all the daggers. So 6 of them are outs. And what about... Oh, there's one more city with a crossroads. Like 1, 2... Okay. So there's a third one somewhere. So there are actually 2 city caps, which with... Yeah, I guess like as green you might go for it. On the other hand, if you finish your city up top, you'll let red finish your city over here. So the question is, whom does this variance benefit? And also, is there a world where you, as green, finish red city over here just to be able to drop a farmer and potentially win this field outright? But no, he attacks the city instead. And that's actually quite interesting. But are there triangles? I certainly see one triangle at the very least, the Dorito with a road, and he gets it. Well, I'm pretty sure we're going to see a connection right there, because there's still 2 city caps remaining. So red is unlikely to get his second meeple into the farm. Will green actually somehow manage to win this game? If green does, that would be just nothing short of incredible.
I'm guessing he's going to want to join to the city and perhaps drop a farmer on the other side of the tile.
In the meantime, we got word that Marian Kurkan, Mars 15, won his first game as well.
I've got to update my tabs at the top to get to the second games. Ah, okay. Know where that's going. Red takes the big field.
With the 33%er, because the other two remaining tiles were city caps, and he took the one which was not the city cap and the one that fit him. Oh, but green gets the coin flip to reconnect and to connect all the fields together. What an ending. Red still has one more move with a starting tile. What's Red gonna do? Is there 4 points? Is there anything better than 4 points? I don't see anything better than 4 points. Oh no! There's something much better. There's a 7-point move. No. There's a, not 7, 8-point move. There's a 9-point field that Red can take over here. Look at this. So he can add 1 point to Green City, but take this farm for 7 points. What a beautiful finish. I'm not sure who won here. It's going to be so close. I feel that Green is going to have it by just a tad? No. I think it's Red. I'm now going to refresh. It's actually Red.
Red has 9 extra points.
That last move was a really nice find here by Red.
Yeah.
What a game, and Tabata takes this one down. I'd say quite deservedly so. I think Red played quite well, dropped some strategic farmers, and at the end, actually, Red had 100% win probability because, well, it's difficult to say about the probabilities, but Red was in such a position that every tile that was remaining in the deck did something good for them.
Yeah, and I think it's difficult as well to fight back when you see your opponent take a big city like Red did. Without that, it would not have been anywhere near as close as it was.
Exactly, but that big city will be showing up in some of Zwali's nightmares this night, potentially. But that's okay. Everybody blunders. That can happen to anybody, even to masters. If anything, it was nothing short of impressive that Green still had good winning chances, decent winning chances, despite that Red's finished city. But let's go to Irvine. Knowing him, he's probably already almost finished his game. What? Oh, no. It's the wrong. It's Irvine_G.
Oh. There's 3 tiles left, and there's one point difference between them at the moment.
That's classic
1 tile
Irvine
left
goal.
now. The game is slipping away, and this is the decider as well. So this game settles the duel. I guess Bexy is looking to see how many points he can take with this tile.
So whoever loses this game was the one who played too fast.
It's amazing how quickly they get through it.
Well, yeah, but it does seem that I think very often many players who play too fast do so to their detriment, really. I think that there are only 2 players in the world who can both play fast and play well at the same time and actually play their best. It's Melvin Quaresma and Pere Vives. I haven't seen anybody else on the planet pull that off.
Well, I think maybe he's listening to you because he's slowed down somewhat now.
As he should. I mean, he's a very good player when he actually stops to think. And I can say, and the same is true about Irvine. So,
I guess maybe he's doing a check to make sure there isn't a city cap left, because if there is, he does not want to leave any chance that Irvine can finish that city on the right, even if he gets 3 points for it.
Oof. What a massive, massive city. How are we doing for fields though? So red has what? One, two, three,
3,
four,
4, 5.
five meeples on it. The sixth one is blocked, and yellow has one, two, three,
3.
four meeples on it. Not great,
So
isn't
it's
it?
looking good for red. Yeah.
Oh, so
How many cities are on it? 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 8 cities. Okay, so he was making sure that there was no city caps left.
yeah, but still, the city's huge, and red has the
Yeah,
field. Red will
yeah.
win this one by a lot. Although it kind of hurts me to see it seems that Bexy lost this game because of the blocked monastery. This blocked monastery made sure that yellow didn't have the meeples to fight for the big field. But it hurts to
Yeah.
see because I kind of like monasteries a lot. So the monastery player is losing here. But again, Carcassonne is not about liking certain features or not. It's just about finding the objectively best move and about a little bit of luck. So Ervin is saying sorry about something. Bexy's saying hated all the roads at the start. Okay, I understand, but okay. My philosophy is like to never complain about tiles or luck, but it does appear that's something had to do with certain road tiles that yellow was getting at the start of the game. I assuming yellow wanted to have city tiles, which is understandable, but look at that. So this means that red was playing fast and made the correct decision, but yellow was playing fast and made the incorrect decision. So congratulations to red, to Irvine, and for Romania for getting the first match points. I will be updating the score in a second, but who are we going to follow next? Will that be... Who do you want to see down?
So I'm just looking to see where the other games are. So Mars 15 is in his second game against Godfried van Boolean, and they have 25 tiles left to go. I mean, it would be quite interesting to watch another game of Zwollywood because we followed their first game. And the other ones, it's a bit different when you're sort of dipping into a game if you've not been following it from the start. So I'm struggling to pick a favourite at the moment. I'll leave it up to you, Alex.
If you're struggling, then I'm going to leave it up to my viewers because I see that viewers in the chat are suggesting that we watch Mars, and we're just going to dive into this complicated middle game, which is just perfect. I mean, Mars... Marian Kurkan is, I'd say, an absolutely incredible player because he is both the 2019 World Champion and the 2022 Mind Sports Olympiad Grand Prix Champion. So it's like both two big international tournaments, one live, one online, and of course he has a lot of achievements in online Carcassonne as part of Team Romania as well. Well, let's see if he, with the green meeples, manages to assert his status here. So let's start analyzing this position. I see lots of blocking, so this game is definitely up your alley, Dan. I know that you're a big fan of blocking too, if I'm not mistaken.
I am. Just now the move from blue looked counterintuitive because he was killing his own cloister, but he's also killing, or monastery, whichever you prefer, but he's also killing the monastery that's next to that and a city belonging to Mars, and he's also hindering the big city on the right of that, which now needs a start tile. I don't know how many of those are left. I can see 2 at the moment. 1, 2. So there may be 2 more of those left, which could help there. But the farm is big as well. There's 6 on that, 6 cities, so that's worth 18 points. And Mars is dominating that at the moment with 3 against 2.
Exactly. So there's one starting tile remaining that fits into that hole,
Okay.
and so Mars could still finish the city. Mars can also actually now block blue city as well, but that won't be necessary because there are no more dagger tiles left that fit into this hole. So actually, well, both sides have quite a lot of blocked meeples, but as you said, the field is such a big deal. So not only
Mm.
green Mars is the one who controls it with a 3-2 majority. Look at these three meeples. I've tried to circle them on my screen. Hopefully you in the chat can see that. Because green meeples are kind of really camouflaging, especially this one, the left one, kind of rind out of the city, blending into the surroundings, hoping that blue doesn't notice the meeple until the very end. And such an interesting move sequence has happened. So this move was quite brilliant, I think, by green. Green started blocking his own city because this would also prevent blue from entering the farm, and blue here automatically completed the block for green, which I'm not sure how I feel about, because even though the city is not going to be finished, this means that this field entrance will not be able to be used. And it's such an interesting situation that this field is so close that the only way to attack it probably is a Hail Mary through Road Monastery. Like, you put a road over here, you get a meeple, and then you hope that you get a monastery like this and connect through the outside. But the chances of that happening for blue are not great. And in order to win the game for blue, I can't even imagine what blue gotta do. Who am I kidding? Of course I can't imagine. Okay, here's, I think, the only winning scenario for blue. First of all, blue needs to draw one of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, two remaining crossroads to finish his road and get a meeple back. Then they'll be roughly equal on the scoreboard, but green will be ahead because of this ruin. So actually, even equalizing this field will not be enough for blue to win the game. So what blue will have to do, blue will have to drop two farmers on either side. I don't even know, like two farmers somewhere, and then connect them with a single monastery somehow. So a lot of things need to happen, but the plan is basically for blue to get a meeple back ASAP and then attack the field, and once more the field. It has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 completed cities on it, and it is worth a whopping 18 points and will be the game deciding feature of the game. Well, Dan, do you see any other ideas for blue here?
I think the way you the way you describe it is kind of similar to the last game where we were talking about Swallywood's to-do list, and that ended up being much closer than I anticipated. So I think this tile here that blue has is nice because he gets a meeple back, and if he can make the end of it into a loop, then he can make an opportunity. He can make an. I don't know why he would place it quite like that, because I think if he placed it the other way round, he could perhaps look to join the two remaining ends together, and make a loop and get another farmer onto the city. Onto the farm. Getting the third farmer on, I'm less sure how he would do that, but he has not got that opportunity to do it now because of how that tile is oriented. I really don't think that he can win unless he at least has an equal share in that farm, and possibly an equal share of the city as well. Now he's got a meeple back, maybe he'll think that he can do that because he can claim the ruin on the left, and I believe there is still one Dorito with roads left, because I can see 1, 2, 3, 4. I think there's still one tile left that would allow him to join that. So maybe if he could join and share that city, and he could get an extra meeple onto the farm, then it could do it for him. But it's really going to be about how he uses this meeple advantage.
already. I see we've been having a couple of issues. So I moved you a little bit to the left, Dan. I hope you don't mind, so that all the players can see the board. Also, I'm gonna switch now. I'm gonna stop the drawings. I'm gonna switch to just a regular cursor. Seriously, I've no idea why they are like this. It's an issue that hasn't happened before, but this is something that you can expect from Alexey's Carcassonne channel. They're going to be novel technical issues every stream for over a year. Every time it's a little bit of something, but it's something different. So this time it's the drawings that are a little bit off. Hopefully you're enjoying all these little imperfections. In the meantime, there are so many questions that we have to Dan that I'd like you to address. Yeah, the end game. The end game can wait. Let me just pick one. So first of all, Dan, who is your favorite of the tournament? Limbo Man's asking. I think the favorite means the team.
I suppose if I had to pick a team that I thought was going to win, then I would be boring. And if I had money on it, then I would just look to who has won the previous editions, and I would say Japan. I think that the squad has changed a lot since over the years, but I believe that they have every confidence in their squad that they've got at the moment. Otherwise, they wouldn't be playing because they do take it very seriously. So, yeah, I would be quite surprised to see them certainly outside of the top two.
It's certainly a valid prediction if you ask me. In the meantime, Green doesn't have meeples, but Green does not need to have meeples. Green's gonna probably win this anyway. Look at, like, Mars just took this city below. Okay, I'm gonna do one final drawing. I'm just trying to make it really, really big so that even if it's off, you probably know what I'm talking about. This city over here in the middle of this big circle, okay? Yeah, that's one thing that happens. Oh, okay, I think I understand. Yeah, yep.
It seemed, I was just going to say, it seemed a strange move before that when Blue sort of dropped that city extender in the middle to join the two parts together and didn't claim anything. He had two meeples, Mars had one left, and Mars's next tile then was a city cap, so he just put it on one end and claimed it. And then Blue has to react to it to stop him from completing the city and the risk that it poses. I kind of feel like if you're not going to claim something, then you don't want to be adding value to anything because your opponent's just going to come along and take it, which is exactly what's happened here. So I'm not sure why you would do that.
I think I understand why. Reason. So the thing that was going through Blue's mind, I'm absolutely sure, was something like, well, Green has only one meeple. Surely I can take this ruin later, and Green will not use his last meeple just to take a ruin. And Green says, yeah, you know what? I'm going to use my last meeple. I don't care. It's 8 points. It's the end of the game. So yeah, sometimes this happens.
It's very close to it's a big risk just because of how close it is to the end of the game. And I guess Godfried now has a certain freedom because it's unlikely that Mars is going to get any meeples back. But if he completes the city, I guess he will be sorry. But again, if you're then going to spend your subsequent turns blocking it to make sure he can't complete it, then maybe it wasn't wisely spent.
Well, it does seem that the city caps are no longer available for completing the city, so Marian just took the city for the sake of 8 points, and that's pretty much it. Because the thing is, as I said before, it is not enough for Blue to get one meeple into the field. Blue needs to get two meeples in the field, and the first field meeple has to come in right now. Place the straight road on the right and drop a farmer. Go, do it. You have to risk. But of course it's blockable now, and Marian is going to take care of that. Well, one more farmer, I guess, on the left. at the bottom. Same idea.
It shows what a difference it makes when you know what tiles are left, because obviously Godfrey's only done that because he's expecting the monastery with road, but Marion knows that it's coming as well, and so places his tile there.
And it did seem to that Marion had it covered, because if Marion were not to get the monastery, Marian was bound to get one of the two blocking tiles, one of the two city tiles that go next to Blue's field meeple. That's going to prevent the field connection, even if Blue gets lucky. And even if Blue were to get lucky and connect into the field, it still would not have been enough to equalize all the massive points for ruins that Green has over there. So it's something... Yeah. There's something to be said for getting rid of your meeples early if you recognize that there's a time window for scoring opportunities on the board, and Mars is excellent at that. So his two main strengths are field play and having a good intuition to when use your last meeple, and has completely paid off. Just a stellar middle game to end game performance from the play with the green meeples, and Romania seem to be doing quite well in this match and are closer to fulfilling my prediction and probably some of you guys' predictions. I'm going to let the points... Yeah?
I was just going to say, that opportunity where which Mars created, and Godfrey capitalized on to kill his city, but at the same time blocking any extra entrance onto the farm there, might be something which comes back to bite Blue. It was not something that I would have thought about, but I'm not a former world champion. But yeah, that worked out really nicely, and it just showed that Mars knew that the farm was going to be key to his victory here, and he was prepared to make a sacrifice in order to keep it to himself, and that's what won him the game and the duel.
Alrighty, so now we... Speaking of winning the duel, there's one more duel once. So somebody's saying about Gio's game, that Gio won his second game via draw, but I'm not sure. Did he win his first game? Did he lose? Could you check that for us, please?
Yeah, I am just having a look now. So it looks as though both games were lost by Gio 100. So that is a duel for John Nordvik of Netherlands.
Wait, no, I think Gio won his game by a draw, no?
Oh, no, you're quite right. Yes, the top one is indeed a draw, 106-106. So they are playing their settling game now.
Right, so I'm going to open this game, and because we haven't seen Gio's game here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you're going to need to tell it to me by letter. How does it go? I don't like when people use numbers in their screen names, actually. It's just too not memorable. So what are the numbers? Just please tell me.
Gio 100.
Okay, actually that wasn't too hard. That wasn't too hard at all. Oh, and they have just started, so please take over the action while I take care of the practicalities.
Happily. So there appears to have been some nice draws in the early stages for Gio 100. I'm getting confused now. I'm guessing that he's taken both the 8-point city and the 4-point city there, and now they are both on the same farm, which is shared. I'm guessing Gio 100 is going to use this to perhaps finish his road. And meanwhile, he has another city at the bottom, which has got the four-sided city tile dropped on it, which is never a nice thing if you intend to complete your city. So I guess if he does indeed want to complete that, he's going to need to be looking to defend it now, before his narrow lead starts to evaporate. But other than that, they seem fairly close at the moment. John Nordvik's got more in the way of meeples available.
Melvin is saying Alexey doesn't like nicknames with numbers, he says to danisthirty. Yeah, but Dan has the 30 spelled out, okay? That's what I
Exactly.
appreciate. Use
I
words.
knew I knew that at some point, Alexei, it was going to bother you, so I thought, right, I'll just spell it out for you.
All right, guys, you also can somebody help us out with how game over is doing?
Oh, yes, I will have a quick look at that.
And I'll take over the action. So, yeah, kind of a peaceful opening. Players are thinking, that's what I like. Red finishing a city, scoring 4 points. Simple Carcassonne very often is the most effective Carcassonne. Geo here probably going to continue his city. It could be a ruin, but this city is finishable, and finishable real quick. He's only 3 tiles away. Will he try to do that? Why we just not try to finish our city as green and simply clinch this game? It's not impossible, which is why red starts to attack the city, and now a fantastic tile for green. The monastery, it works perfectly in that hole over here, and of course he's going to meeple the monastery at the same time controlling red city meeple below the monastery. And what he's going to do next, he's going to take some sort of row tile and drop a farmer, anticipating that red is going to finish his city and make it so that there's going to be 3 cities in the field, and the field is going to be worth 9 points, and green is actually, I'm going to say, quite close to bringing the victory for Team Romania. There is still 47 tiles remaining, but the position for red is that dangerous. Red needs to draw some nice tiles really quick if red wants to do something here. In the meantime, green is stacking monasteries, which is super powerful, and I think red is now trying to take the field, which looks essential, but green now can either start breaking red city, or green can continue his own city, or just do something random like add a monastery point. But it looks like we're going to see a city move real soon. So he goes for the greedy stuff. Geo wants to score points himself as opposed to disrupt his opponents, and red can come back into this game if red manages to block green's monasteries and then finish his city and then to connect to green cities. It's really a lot of objectives here for red. It's really, really difficult position here for red. Especially now when green connects to red city. So how are we doing in the other matches?
So I am watching with 3 tiles left to be placed in Loose Goose against Game Over. It looks as though it could go to Loose Goose, who also won the first game. So that would be a duel for Netherlands. But Bogdan Kirkan, Game Over, has done some has made a good move here to possibly claim the farm outright. He's not going to do it with that. So yeah, I think this one is going to go to Loose Goose, and that will be the duel.
Shall we just distract ourselves from this game and have a look at the final tiles of Loose Goose?
Well, you'll have to be quick because it's onto the final scoring now.
Okay, I'm gonna try to be real quick. I hope you guys don't mind the distraction, because I kind of feel it's like a nice idea to. How many slashes does Game Over have? Just use your names. It's all the slashes. It's 2 slashes.
I think it's 2 underscores.
Okay, but it's well, Loose Goose already won this game at plus 28. I was a little bit too late, but it's fine. It's fine. Well, that's what you get for using too many slashes. Okay, you lose the duel 2-0.
So the first game, he Game Over lost by 1 point, and yes, 26 points lost in the second game. So that is a duel for the Netherlands. So
Well, that
I'm
makes it
guessing
more interesting
it's,
for us.
yeah, I think so.
It's not going to be at least a complete sweep for Romania. And by the way, all these things matter in the end because if two teams have the same number of wins at the end of the group stage, which is a situation quite likely, then the first tiebreaker is the number of one duel, and then the tiebreaker is the number of one game. So every single game is going to matter. Well, look here, Green is just clinching this game further and further, creating more and more threats. So first of all, Green is one tile away from finishing his gigantic city at the right. There's still two starting tiles remaining, and if Red does not block that spot, then Green will have a 75% chance to win that city and in all likelihood the game. But fortunately for Red, he gets a blocking tile now, which he absolutely has to use. No blunder here from Red. Red is a good player.
But even without completing it, that's still worth 3, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 11, 13 points. So that's still not bad.
To say the least, and probably it looks like it really heading Romania's way here. Green, unless he makes something extraordinarily stupid, should take this home, or Reds would need to pull not one but like 5 rabbits out of a hat. But let's see what happens. Continuing the topic about Dan's screen name, Craft Giraffe is saying it took a while before I realized it wasn't danisthirty. I'm not joking. The same for me too. Like for about 5 months I thought that it was danisthirty rather than danisthirty, and I think that's because there's like already an S in the word is, and that's why you kind of it's very common to misread it like this. And also thirsty is a real word.
I think if I'd known how many people were, oh, that's nice for Red there, brings it even a bit. Yes, if I'd known how many people were going to confuse it with something else, then I perhaps would have not gone for that name in the first place. Yeah, he's not the only person who thinks that I'm thirsty. I'm guessing that John Nordvik can do something because he has more meeples now. So I guess if he can connect his second farmer, which he might do here, then perhaps he'll want to join the farm at the top.
Exactly.
And make it into a bit of a mega farm.
Okay, I'm gonna make a poor attempt at drawing again. I'm gonna make big circles. See this farm over here, there's a world how this farm merges with this farm, how everything here, huge circle across the screen, becomes a huge farm with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cities, 21 points. Not bad, but probably still not going to be enough, because look at the power of these 3 adjacent monasteries. 2 completed monasteries for Green and 2 incomplete monasteries for Green. Monasteries win games.
Yeah, I think the he's done well to draw that monastery there, and if he can complete it, then that'll make a big difference. But he has only got 1 meeple, so there's a nice position at the bottom there to try and fight back for the farm. But I guess at the moment he can't really do that because he is down to his last meeple and he doesn't want to commit it.
Quite understandably so.
Oh, I was going to say if he could extend his city such that it pointed in a road into that gap near to Green's monastery, then that would be another meeple trapped. So I suppose he's defended it with that.
It's still doable if Red were to draw the tile that Green just drew.
Yeah. Exactly. Finishes his city, which adds onto the farm and kills off that cloister as well. This is the tile that green wants. But red can use it elsewhere.
Not there though. I think it's a misstep from red. The move was to finish the city at the bottom right to drop a farmer, I think. Just because there's gonna be a 9-point field on the right, and somebody's gonna claim it soon, and it has to be the side that's behind.
I think they probably would have done if they'd known you were going to get so angry about it, Alexey.
Oh, I hope. Oh, so sorry. I get over invested. Like, I definitely don't want to be. I don't want to come across as angry. I'm gonna call it energetic, okay? Oh.
Yeah, and that's a much better word, actually. Yeah, he's claimed it now.
I should I think learn some manners from Craft Giraffe, because he's like, when he streams, well, he usually does so on Twitch, but he's kind of the opposite of me. He's like super calm, and when somebody makes a mistake, he goes like, "Oh," and I go like, "No," and he goes like, "Oh," and that's kind of his most intense reaction. Well, anyway, Red did successfully claim that field, so all is well. At the expense of a crossroads, so crossroads is a nice tile to have, and also kind of Red hurt his own city. It's possibly still completable. We're not sure at that point. At this point, let me know which ones of you are rooting for Netherlands right here.
Yeah, I'm mostly rooting for the Netherlands, and that's because they were the team I thought would win.
Yeah, so you just get to gift the signed tiles by Klaus Jürgen Wrede to yourself.
Exactly. Yeah, save on the postage that way.
Exactly. So you better hope that. So I know it's kind of bad to say, but like when I do these giveaways, part of me hopes that like a European person will win. Because if I'm completely honest, like with all the giveaways that I've done, even within the Europe, the postage is more expensive than the actual Carcassonne set. It's fine. Anything for the content, okay? So please, South Americans, by all means, predict well and win. I will be absolutely happy to cough up the dough for the postage, or just deliver it in person for that matter.
It's a nice place to visit. Now you've got a good reason to go over there.
Absolutely, I dream of going to Brazil. Well, if anything, I kind of, I will have reason to go to Brazil next year for some of the volunteer work that I do. I actually haven't talked about like much what I do for Carcassonne, but basically I'm involved in the organization of something that's called the International Linguistics Olympiad, which is an educational thing for talented high school students across the world, and the next thing is happening in Brazil, and so I hope to meet some Carcassonne players there. Well, anyway, in the meantime, that's going to be next year. This year and right now, we still have to follow and properly comment on this game. Well, green is at +8 and plus monastery and plus another monastery and plus a ruin, and has a 6-point field at the bottom, but red has another 6-point field at the bottom, and red has a 1 2 3 4 5 6 no 1 2 3 4 5 6 yes 21-point field, no 18-point field, which is close to being enough but not quite enough to win this game. Green will need to just hold on to his advantage, and red will need to score some quick points somewhere without a meeple investment. Will he be able to finish his city? On the left? Maybe. There's still some dagger tiles remaining. There's one dagger tile remaining that fits here. Again, I'm going to make an attempt at drawing here. Like, there's a city here somewhere, okay? I know it's a bit off, but you're going to follow me. That's the only city that you see on the left, okay? It's still finishable.
And by the way, to the city, to the farm as well.
Exactly, yeah. So not only this will be +5 at a meeple back, it's going to be also +3 for the farm, and it might just be enough, maybe. The reason I'm calling those dagger tiles is from another streamer whom I quite like, Juliano Apostata, the Spanish-speaking streamer who streams in English on Twitch, and he's very interesting because he's like very informal and he's quite fresh in the Carcassonne scene. Because I'm also like very technical. I like to talk about percentages and I like to talk about. Oh, you know, if red turned this tile that other way, then he would have 2% more of getting his meeple blocked. Whereas Juliano's stream are like more casual, more entertaining. And he does swearing, dark humor, and all that kind of stuff. And yeah, he gave nicknames to tiles, and the city cap with a left turn he calls a communist dagger because it's like turns to the far left, and the city with the right turn he calls a fascist dagger for the opposite reasons because it turned to the far right. I thought those were quite funny, and so I started calling these tiles daggers, and there's still one of those remaining in the deck unless I am mistaken. I'm pretty sure I'm not mistaken.
Getting the politics in there as well.
Well, yeah, but we have to be neutral. Like if there's a left, there's a right as well.
True.
There's a strong move for red here. I think he should add this triangle to his city, pointing into the right, into the correct side, so that he gets the correct dagger. And actually, he did so. Nice tile counting here from red, or tile tracking. I don't know which method he employed. Hopefully tile tracking, because that's the one that I've been advocating on my channel. Everyone who hasn't done so, go watch my tile counting video. It's one of the most viewed one on the channel. I had a lot of fun making it and spent a lot of time on it. Ooh, so much stuff in the chat. Tabata wins against Wally. And the match goes to Romania. Sorry about that, Dan. But it looks like my prediction is coming true.
If anything, it's a sign that you should never follow my predictions because they're pretty much always wrong. That's why I always vote against my own team, so that I'll be wrong and will win.
That makes sense, actually.
But I think this game has been a really good example of sort of how you can be strong in different areas. So green has been strong in, well, he's built his big city there, and he's had a lot of monasteries, which he's enjoyed getting some good points from, and suffered being blocked as well there on the end. Meanwhile, red has been able to capitalize on... Oh, that's a nice one for red. Red has been able to capitalize on that investment in other features and has taken the farm over. They're on 61 each now. Oh, looking like this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and he's got 2 more over there, 9. So that's 27 points going red's way, 6 going green's way. I'm thinking red.
Well, John Nordwijk is saying congrats.
Oh, okay.
And I pressed the wrong button. I meant to do the refresh. Let's go, 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 go. Impatience. +9 for green and a convincing 4-1 for Romania. Well, congratulations to Romania. Congratulations to all of you who bet on Romania. And now we're actually going to see. I'm going to scroll through the chat and see who actually won the prediction game for this match. And we're going to talk a little bit with Dan after stream lately, because I saw some questions for you. So while I'm scrolling and looking for the winner, there was a question from you in the chat. I forgot who asked, but somebody asked you, Dan, to tell us about your most memorable game. Do you have one?
I have a couple of most memorable games, and one of them was in fact one which you have covered in one of your analyses, Alexei. And it was a game that I played against Kithara from the Japanese team. And I think it was from 2021 when we had a duel. Um, and I think it was the first game of our duel where it was pretty close. We were both sort of playing it very tightly, but there was a city that developed, and I remember playing a certain tile, thinking that it was safe, and that there was only one way that that could be turned into a risk, which was by Kithara drawing a splitter tile, which he did, and he claimed the thing that didn't want him to claim. So I immediately then tried to get a second guy to match his second guy in the city, and he drew the other splitter tile and cut me out. So then he was basically just waiting for a city field tile to win the game and close this enormous city. And there were two of them left. But as luck would have it, I drew both of them. And I think I won the game by like 3 or 4 points in the end, and ended up winning the duel, which was wonderful because it also contributed to a UK win against Japan. So that was really a huge highlight game for me, and one that I like to remember, especially since he was, I think, one of the top-rated players at the time. But another game which I remember less favourably was in 2019, an in-person game against Vengi Lim of the UK. We were playing at the UK Championships, and we were both in the final. In fact, I think you were playing that year as well, Alexei. And I think Vengi had actually beaten you in the semi-final, and Vengi and I were playing each other. And it was a city thing as well. A city had been growing. I had ignored it for too long. I made an opportunity to fight back for it. I got split out, and we ended up in the situation where he needed 2 of the 4 remaining city field tiles, and I was just sort of desperately hoping that he wouldn't get them, but he did, and scored this great city and pushed me out of the game altogether. So I had to settle for second that year. But I'm always happy to be beaten by another member from the UK team, and he's a great champion, and he's very modest as well. So he'll always put it down to good luck when in reality he sort of outthought me and outplayed me. But I'm happy to think along his lines and pretend that it was luck as well.
Oh, these are both great stories, especially for the first one. What I'm going to say is, of course, all you have to check out the video. It's a really classic game. It's really well played from both sides against the one against Kithara. So yeah, you need to. I mean, it didn't get that many views because I probably didn't make such a. I don't know. I don't know why, but it's probably most of you will find that interesting. We have another question for you, Dan. How do you view the chances of UK against Poland this Sunday?
We have a pretty good record against Poland generally. I think we've played them twice, and we have had a friendly match with them in the past as well. And I'm sure someone will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we've won both of our matches against Poland in the past, including in 2020, when the World Team Online Championships was in its first year. The UK team was very much a work in progress, and I think Poland were possibly the only team that we beat. So you can view that in one of two ways, in that, you know, we've beaten them before, and hopefully it'll happen again, or you can take the other side and imagine that they will be keen to get revenge against us. I don't know which way it's going to go, but they're always a great team to play against, and I'm looking forward to finding out. I'm going to predict that it will be a 5-0 win for Poland. But obviously, when I say that, I'm also hoping that I'm going to be very wrong.
Oh, that's a great mindset to have. Yeah. So then, well, you will be a loser in the prediction game, but I see you will be very happy to do so at the captain. By the way, if anybody was wondering why Dan's face has been appearing on and off, there's like very interesting, again, as I said, I will be offering continual novel technical difficulties. So it's like, it does so when I'm scrolling through the chat, basically. And now I'm just trying to figure out the winner. So wait, Dan, how many tiles do you have that you're giving away? Is that 3?
I've got 3 here, yes.
So there are 2 players who predicted 4-1 for Romania. I'm just trying to sort of work out the math, which one was closer. Are you open to splitting the tile between 2, Dan?
I think based on the accuracy of their predictions, I'm very happy to send them each a tile. I'm guessing that one of them is probably in Australia and the other's on the International Space Station. So postage is going to be quite expensive up to there. But yeah, I'm happy to send them both a tile. If just do you want me to show the tiles again, and they can perhaps choose which one they prefer?
Yeah, I think so. So I could just announce the 2 winners, because here's the thing. It's like, so there it is the viewer with the screen name Vheh, Vheh, and KK Spam 1. So KK Spam 1 sent that Zwali Geo Mars game over and Erwin G would win. Obviously wrong about Zwali and about game over subsequently. But the other player, Vheh, said that 4-1 for Romania, Tabato, Geo 100, Mars 15, Erwin G, and Godfrey in 1 bullion. So actually she got 4 out of 5 right. But then it's weird because like Godfrey 1 bullion was playing against Mars, so he wasn't able to win this. So it actually does seem that Vheh was a little bit closer because she got 4 winners. So if you have 3 tiles, why don't we send 2 tiles to Vheh and 1 tile for KK Spam? How does that sound?
That sounds good to me. Yep. Well done, guys.
Alrighty, so all you gotta do is message me either on the email address that you see in the description of the YouTube channel, or message me on Board Game Arena if you have a board game account. Then I'll connect you with Dan and we can talk about the logistics of your prize. Alright, let's see what else you guys are saying. Willem is saying, I'll send you a special gift if Poland wins by 5-0. So if you want that special gift, Dan, you do need to
field my weakest team.
Yeah, and make sure that you put yourself on the lineup and lose 2-0 on purpose. You just need to make it look as inconspicuous as possible. Alrighty, there's one more thing to talk about, is the other prediction game. I just wanted to share a little bit. So, already over a dozen of you in the first day signed up for the Fantasy Carcassonne, the thing that I was talking about. For those of you who joined us recently, I gotta remind you that at the end of the championship, I will be giving up a copy of Citadels with extra special competitive rules from Alexey. So you're gonna have something unique in the world, hopefully. And if you're not familiar with the game Citadels, chances are you'll probably like it. Or, you know, if you don't, you could just use it as a gift and give it to your friend or whatever. And in order to do so, you need to pick a team of 5 players from different countries who you think are going to perform best, and submit your Fantasy 5. You can familiarize yourself with the procedure of the game if you watch my giveaway announcement video. The link to that is in the description. And so far, let's just kind of go through the predictions that you guys sent me, or the fantasy fives. So I've already had 20 submissions so far. I know Dan's face is going to disappear for half a minute. I hope you can live with that. And of course, most of you chose Japanese players. 6 Japanese players were chosen, 3 Chinese players were chosen, and there were lots of countries from which 2 players were chosen. I'm not going to list them all, but these are Latvia, France, Catalonia, RCP, Czechia, all kinds of things. And the different players whom you chose for your Fantasy 5 are Alexey LV, Krishna, Alexey LV of Latvia, Krishna of Latvia, Kiefer of Japan, Chard of Japan, Squalis of France, Pranav Febli of Catalonia, Medusa Hope of Germany, someone you know from RCP, Girapa from Romania. By the way, Girapa is the captain of Romania and also the most recent world champion, and he didn't play today. So that just tells you the strength of Romania. They can just win 4-1. They can win a strong team 4-1 without their possibly strongest player on the lineup. That's just something, right? So then some of you picked Self-Evident 2 from China, Snow Island from Japan, Chris Traps from Japan, Marty Party from Czechia, Mikhail Rus from RCP, Moya88 Martin Moisers from Czech Republic, MTW from Poland, Gina from Belgium, Pyro from Japan, Claudio Jorquera from Chile, Aras0307 from Japan, Tomato Ken from China, Jubjik from Ukraine. By the way, Ukraine, that thing is like a really underrated team. They're incredibly strong this year. I think they are making the semifinals at the very least. As the captain of Team Latvia, I will make sure that I prepare my team for the match really, really hard. They beat us 5-0 in the friendly match that we played before the championship, and they beat Belgium 5-0. So yeah, just watch out for the revamped Ukrainian squad.
You don't have to look very far down the arena rankings to find half of the Ukrainian team. They're great individually, but they always seem to play so well as a team as well. We have a very bad record against the Ukrainian team, and whenever they offer us friendly matches, you know, sometimes I have to try and find excuses to turn them down just because I know it's going to be bad for morale when they thrash us again.
Exactly, and that's something very interesting here. Like, we forget that even though the games are one-on-one, it is really a team competition. And I've noticed that there are teams who have good players, but don't have quite the team interaction and the team spirit and all that kind of stuff, and frequently underperform, and they score lower than what's perhaps the combined ELO of their players would suggest. So ELO is not everything. So the truth is, I'm going to like reveal some secrets. I hope the Ukrainians don't mind. I was invited to one of their training sessions, and I attended that training session. And they have a bit of a camaraderie between them. So I think most of their players know each other, even though they did a bit of a selection and they picked somebody new this week. So you'll see the player Pavlo Brin, who is completely new to their team, but actually quite a decent player as well. But sort of all the kind of the main core of the team, I think they actually like friends in their real life as well. And they're like all... So they were like, during the training, they were like throwing casual insults at each other. That was so funny. You know, like those...
I heard somewhere that they used to work together and sort of play Carcassonne in their lunchtime. I'm not sure where I heard that or whether it's true, but they certainly seem to have that vibe about them in that they all know each other well and they're good friends.
Yes, exactly. But like some insult or something. I think one of the most extreme ones is like, how do you not see this move, fatso? Or like something like this, man. Anyway, it's so that's definitely like a team to watch, and I think because they didn't participate last year for obvious reasons, kind of they had a bit of a more urgent issues to deal with, right? So it's fortunate that they can participate again. Yeah, and so possibly people have a bit like forgotten about them, but now they are really, really strong. So we'll see how they play against China, which I think is the second strongest team in their group. But we'll go on because I want to just tell you this. Some of you might find these stats interesting, but if not, we'll just keep talking about other stuff later. Yes, so Viv from France has been chosen, Mars from Romania, of course, Hotly from Taiwan, who was the second place finisher at the World Championship, at the in-person World Championship in Essen in 2022. That's Minwei Chen. Sakura came from Taiwan, another master. Socanero from Spain, who's the most recent Spanish master who got his master title just literally a couple of weeks ago. Then Osnofak from Portugal. And as we remember, Portugal were the 4th place team last year. Zwali from Netherlands, although, well, he lost today's duel, so you still have 2 weeks until the April 23rd to reconsider, but don't. He's still a strong player. He can win his remaining duels. Pechitos from Colombia, Juliana Apostata from Spain, Ed Chamon from Brazil, and Adria from Ukraine, who I think is the strongest player from Ukraine. That's Kirilo Manikov, who is actually has made contributions to Carcassonne theory, opening theory, and he is the originator for the idea of what is known as the Ukrainian technique. That's a way how you fight monasteries with cities. I've talked about it on my channel. It's kind of too difficult to go into right now. And most interestingly, the player who have been... Okay, so Dan, can you guess who is the player out of the ones that I named who appears on most of our viewers' fantasy teams?
I'd have to guess that it must be danisthirty.
So at the moment, danisthirty
I'm guessing
is...
it probably wasn't me. I'm gonna guess somebody from the Japanese team. I will say Kithara.
That's a great guess because he was the second most picked player. So 11 of our viewers chose him. The most picked player who was picked 13 times is someone you know, Vladimir Kovalev from RCP.
My second guess.
Yeah. Well, so the third most picked player is myself, Alexey LV from Latvia. So I appreciate that, but then thank you for the extra pressure that you're putting on me, because now I have to, now everybody is wants me to win, which is of course is great. And then I can't lose, because if I lose, then people will gonna say, oh, he just lost on purpose because he doesn't want to ship citadels to Brazil or something. No, I'm not going to lose on purpose. I might lose. I will try not to, but not on purpose.
You'll be letting your viewers down if you lose now. You've got that pressure over you.
Yeah, and then the other two most picked players are Shud from Japan, who's really strong actually, as are many Japanese players with 6 picks, and 4 of you have picked, I think, in my view, an incredibly strong player, fingers crossed, Krishna from Latvia. So, and then after that, it's kind of evenly spread across all different players. Well,
so maybe you should get together and make your own team, sort of like an international wonder team. And you can take on all comers from around the world who assemble their own 5-player teams to take you on in special matches.
I mean, that would be pretty cool. Yeah, because you know how they have all stars in the NHL and those American leagues.
Yeah,
we could have one for Carcassonne and stuff. Alrighty, I haven't checked the chat in a while. Yeah, well, RCP is sort of a team of individuals who are not representing any country. Those players are originally from Russia, so that's the idea. When coming to all this issue with the Ukraine war, I think the organizers chose the best approach, and at the same time kind of not to ignore that, but at the same time to allow individuals to compete, not representing a particular country. I think that's a good middle ground. That's
yeah. I think with something like that, there are everybody seems to have a different view. about what's the right way to carry on. So they have put an incredible amount of time and attention into listening to everybody who wanted to share their opinion, and they've really worked hard to come up with the best solution that fits all of the voices that they heard.
Yeah, that makes sense. And if anything, actually, organizer did a great job sort of serving everyone, and they've been getting progressively thoughtful, I think. But, well, alrighty, we will be wrapping up the stream soon. Do make sure to participate in the Fantasy 5 if you're into that kind of thing. And for Vihe and KK Spam, do contact me. I will put you together with Dan so that you can get your signed tiles and memorabilia. Sergei Zaharenko. Oh, we have the captain of Ukraine in the chat. That's pretty cool. Yeah, is referring to this fateful city in the game between Tabato and Zwali. Rightfully so. Some of you will remember that fateful city that Tabato completed. Everybody is urging me to correct the... Okay, I will do this. You know what? I think it was close enough. Obviously, the score was like updated 15 minutes after it actually happened, but close enough, guys, close enough. It's the first stream of the year. We'll try to get better. Anyway, thank you so much for the support. There's really a lot of viewers. I've been experiencing really a lot of newly made positive emotion because of Carcassonne recently. Not just because of like my recent arena win and the recent Latvia win, but the support from you guys has been absolutely incredible. And also, I recently did a Carcassonne collab with my first ever sort of YouTube collab as an upload with Sam from the No Wonders channel, who's sort of a board game polyglot, and we're doing a coached game. I was invited as a Carcassonne coached, and you can see the link to that video in my community tab. I thought that video is I'm actually quite happy with that video. You should absolutely check it out. Subscribe to this channel, those of you who haven't done so. We'll be doing a lot of WTCOC, World Team Carcassonne Online Championship stream, and all kinds of other stuff. Do meeple the like button for the algorithm as well. And we will be wrapping up real soon, but I'm a bit paranoid. Dan, did we forget anything?
Not that I can think of. We've covered the match. We've covered your the tiles, and yeah, we've done everything I can think of. Your faithful viewers are usually pretty quick to point things out in the comments if you've forgotten anything,
which is super helpful. Yes, please keep doing that, because I can guarantee that like small things I will keep forgetting. Alrighty, then that's gonna be it. I haven't decided yet, of course, everything happens last moment and spontaneously, which matches I'm gonna be covered, but there's gonna be at least one more weekend stream of, we're gonna do either one match or two matches at the same time, so stay tuned for those YouTube notifications. I will also post the next stream on my Board Game Arena page. For now, congratulations to Romania, and also congratulations to all of you who picked Mars 15 for their Fantasy 5. Thank you so much for watching, and I'm gonna see you soon.